good.
Hi everybody, welcome to the channel. Today I have a very special guest. This is Neptune Girl. She has her own channel. She is very knowledgeable about astrology, so I'm so excited to have her on today. We're going to talk a little bit about astrology and also what's going on with the energies and with the twin flames as well. I'll pull some cards at the end of this video, but I'll go ahead and let her take it. So Neptune Girl, tell us a little bit about yourself.
From Valdosta, Georgia, South Georgia, right before you go into Florida. I'm a marriage and family therapist. I'm an astrologer. I'd like to combine the two. I think astrology is extremely helpful with helping people with their issues. I love the tarot. I love everything intuitive. And that's why I'm here.
Yes. When she says she knows a lot about that stuff or she's knowledgeable, it's true. Okay. She knows a lot about what's going on with astrology. So I will link her channel down below so you guys can go over and subscribe to it because she has where she's going to be doing like natal chart readings and relationship. How do you call that again?
Well, there's two types.
Okay.
There's a composite chart where we take the two charts of two people and it does the midpoints and it actually creates a third entity, the relationship chart. There's also a synastry chart which compares, the planets and houses of each person. Chrissy's sun is in my 10th house kind of thing and gives explanations for that. And they're very psychologically oriented, so they're helpful to kind of help you, with your not so great aspects. And, to reinforce your good aspects.
Mm-hmm. And I think that alone for the twin flame community is really good because that will explain a lot of what's going on within the twin flame dynamic and maybe some things that need to be tweaked and changed or possibly, I don't know how you feel about this, but is it possible to tell if someone's maybe a karmic through that? What are your thoughts on that? Because I'm curious about, a lot of people ask me about that too.
Well, in astrology, your north and south node in your chart, which basically the north node is what we're aiming toward in this lifetime, but the south node represents where we came from. If your partner or the person that you think may be a karmic, they might have planets on your south node, which could indicate that you had a previous life together. If they have planets on your north node, it could be that they're here to help you in some aspect in this lifetime. Other than that, there's not exact indicators in the chart, in relationship reports as far as karmic or twin flame or whatever, but relationship reports can definitely help you understand the partner you're dealing with much better.
Yeah. Okay. That's good because I feel like a lot of us should understand our partners a little bit better, especially things that we might kind of question. Why are they acting a certain way, or why am I acting this way in the relationship overall? Like for me, I've learned a lot about myself since I've been studying my chart, and she's taught me a lot too. Like I said, very knowledgeable, and she's taught me a lot. So now I can kind of see the aspects of my chart where, why do I act like this? Why did I have certain addictions? Why am I crazy?
You're not crazy.
Why am I psycho? That kind of stuff. So tell me a little bit about when it comes to what you do, when you read the chart and then you're going to kind of like coach them on what they can change, because she's able to do both, guys. It's awesome.
Well, one of the main things is, to start is just introducing the client to, where their planets are. It helps them understand why they act the way they do. Mm-hmm. For instance, Mars is our action planet. Whatever sign and house that your Mars is in kind of explains where, you're focused most of the time, where you like to take action. My Mars is in the 7th house in the sign of Libra. Libra seeks balance, justice. That's why me as a therapist, I like to help people find balance. Mm-hmm. Mars in the 7th house is the house of relationships, the house with partners and open enemies, even business relationships. So, there again, me being a therapist, I'm able to help people see both sides of the issue. I'm very relational. I like being around people. I like helping people, and that explains like my Mars. Someone else may have Mars in the 10th house, which may be extremely career oriented, and depending on what sign. Venus, what we love, the things that we cherish, depending on where that's at, So if you've got a partner that you don't quite understand why they like certain things, it's very helpful to see their chart, because then you can see, and that's where I come in too, is to explain to you how to read it or what things mean. Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty awesome. Like, for me, that would be very helpful. And I know for a lot of my boo things out there that's very helpful. And it also, I feel like it would help you understand your inner child more, like how you could heal like your inner childhood wounds for me.
Definitely. And, one of my previous careers, I worked with kids on probation. And a lot of times I was able to utilize their chart to help figure out, where certain behavioral issues come from. Like kids that get angry all the time. They may have like a moon opposite Pluto or Mars opposite Pluto or different, there's different aspects that can, make someone behave that way. By seeing it on paper and understanding that that's what they were born with, it kind of helps them not feel like, oh, I'm just a bad person. And it gives you a starting point from which you can correct that behavior. Like, hey, I have a tendency to lose my temper really easy. So I need to be more careful and focus on being calm. It just helps us understand why we do the things that we do. Why we get so upset about certain things, whereas, maybe your partner doesn't. Or your child. It's very helpful in understanding your children, So yeah, I can help with all those things.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So you don't only give like an astrology report, she actually assists you and helps you completely understand why maybe there's certain triggers in your life, or maybe why you get triggered by certain people, especially if you're in a relationship, or for example, a twin flame dynamic. You can kind of help with those relationship reports and kind of see, where the energy is at, or why this certain energy is always following me around. Speaking of the energy, can you tell us a little bit about what's happening tomorrow? Because I know there's some things happening astrologically speaking that is going to be affecting our career.
Venus is conjunct Chiron in Aries. That was with yesterday and today, and that helps us understand our wounds, and hopefully, Chiron is the wounded healer. So basically, if you can understand where your wounds are, it helps you be able to heal them better and get past them. And Venus, in Aries being conjunct Chiron, helps us kind of, look at where our hearts are hurting, where the pain is, and how to get past it, and how to just love ourselves, look into our heart, and tell ourselves it's going to be okay. That's this week. Mars is in the last degrees of Sagittarius, which kind of was about, our story, where our life is heading into Capricorn on Sunday, which Capricorn is, gets us busy, gets us working, let's get it done. So if you've got any projects coming up or anything that you need to work on after Sunday, it's going to be great. But at the same time, we have Mercury going into retrograde, which you don't want to start anything, absolutely brand new, because after the retrograde's over on March 9th, you might decide, hey, I didn't really want to do that, So if, as far as anything major, like major purchases, like a house or a car, I would not do until after March 9th.
Good to know.
Maybe things you've already started or that you've already been working on, you can continue with those. The retrograde's really not going to affect that. But what it will do is it may make you rethink things, like, any decisions you've made in the past few months, you may during a retrograde, because what it does is Mercury moves back over the same sign and degrees that it had been in. It's just going to, maybe have you rethink things that you've done. And you may not make any changes, but I mean, that's just, you know.
And some of us don't, like this one right here, me. Some of us have to learn lessons over and over again. I hear a lot about Mercury retrograde, and even when I was like going through my awakening and learning a lot before I became, you know, doing the tarot and everything like that, that it's a time when exes can return. I have heard that so much. Is that something that you see happen a lot with retrogrades?
It can be, because basically it's kind of like going into the past, you know. So,
retro. Okay, I got you.
And another thing too is it's not always a bad thing, because a lot of people get scared about Mercury retrograde.
I do.
It's really more of turning inward, you know. So instead of thinking more, you know, outward about what's around you and everything, it's a good time to reflect inward, you know, on how you're feeling, or what's been up in your life, or what can you improve, or those type of things. You're more, you know, directed inward. Okay. But definitely, things from the past can show up, you know, or you may think about things from the past.
Yeah. So like around this time, because I've been feeling a lot of wounds coming up that maybe I thought I addressed, because with my chart, I can tell that I'm someone that just tries to be a busybody and almost sweep things under the rug. And I've had those tendencies before, and now I don't want to do that anymore. So the things that come up with this energy, we could really utilize it to our advantage and start the healing process a lot quicker, right? And that's what it brings to the table. Am I correct?
Oh, definitely, yeah. And a lot of times people, you know, we don't want to face pain, because, I mean, who wants to feel pain, you know? But sometimes the best way to get through that pain, which is kind of what Chiron shows us, is to face it, you know, and facing it just means sit with it. You don't have to do anything about it. Just allow those feelings to come through. Just sit with them and think of it, hey, it's part of life. It's a lesson I've learned. What can I learn from this? You know, what can I learn from this pain that I don't want to repeat? You know, or what can I take from this pain that I could help others with?
Right.
You know? So it's a good time for that. And going into this Mercury retrograde, it's in the sign of Pisces. Most of it, I mean, the last few days it'll retrograde back into Aquarius.
Okay.
You know, but in Pisces, that's our, you know, the house of the hidden, everything subconscious. So, you know, we may all be up for a little bit of that pain healing this month, you know, especially with Valentine's Day. It's the, you know, time of hearts. You know, February is the I belong consciousness. You know, so if you look at it as this is something helpful rather than being afraid of it, you know, and a lot of people, hey, like my ex, he never wanted to talk about any of his issues or problems. He always wanted to mask over them. You know, and that's not helpful, because anything that you don't work through or that you don't face is always under the surface rumbling. And you never know, and it might explode or show up again. So, I mean, it's very helpful to, you know, deal with our issues and accept them and move on. You know, that's what life is all about. Yeah,
absolutely. I'll just say I'm not a person that sits with their feelings. I run away from them and leave them in the closet. So I have had a lot of lessons, and my chart does show me that I have a tendency to act that way and kind of like, you know, just go on with life and pretend that nothing's wrong and try to help others instead of always help, because I have a tendency to try to help others before I help myself. And some of you are empaths and you understand how that is. I'm sure, because you're an empath too, you understand how it is where you want to take care of people. And also you're a Cancer, so you're very that motherly energy where you want to take care of others and kind of put yourself last. I mean, how has that affected you being a Cancerian and all of that energy?
It's been a roller coaster in my life. That's why I feel like, you know, I'm able to help others because I've been there. You know, I've been there. It is my nature to want to help others before myself and put myself last. Like, you know, and I've always felt like in relationships that's what you know, that's just what you're supposed to do. I mean, like we were, you know, if you grew up in a Christian household or whatever, you know, especially with some of the older rules around being a woman, like you're supposed to be a mother and a wife first, and put everybody else in front of you, which was really just not good. You know, we have to love ourselves first. You can't pour from an empty pitcher. You know, if you're,
I like that. I love that. Yeah, that's a good saying.
You have to fill yourself up first to be able to. Mm-hmm. But we weren't taught that. So,
no.
And that's where, you know, fortunately, things have changed a lot in the past few years, and people are more open to those ideas.
Yeah. I feel a lot more people are awakening, too. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, definitely. Yes.
And the structure of religion is kind of, I can see a lot of people becoming more spiritual these days than all based on the religion, or based in religion, where they're starting to see things for how they really are, or figure things out.
Yeah. The patriarchal systems that we've had, you know, this past, like right now, Capricorn, Saturn and Pluto are in Capricorn, which Capricorn is the sign that rules all those things: government, religion, you know, systems in place. And with Pluto there have been, you know, we can expect death and transformation. And hopefully with religion, we're going to see a lot more openness and spirituality, because you know, people are tired of being told what to do, and you show up on Sunday and put your money in the collection plate and go home. You know, no one
even
really
money you don't have, you know,
people don't get much from that. You know,
yeah, it's true. Like we could probably, like me and you could probably do a whole podcast on these subjects, because it's so much more in depth. And but what I wanted to say is, you know, I know a lot of you guys struggle, or me, myself, I struggle too. Because like I say, I'm not above you guys. I'm not some spiritual teacher who's way above everybody. I never pretend to be that. I struggle with my own issues, but I feel like us as a collective and a community, and especially, you know, like someone like Kim with her Neptune Girl channel, just being so knowledgeable, that's just an amazing energy to have, because it's like she comes in with understanding but also coaching you. So it's just really, I love what she's doing, and I really believe in what she's doing, because I feel like it's going to help a lot of people, and this is something she was meant to do. Do you remember being different, like, or questioning religion? Because I did when I was little. Do you remember being that way?
Oh yeah, always. And actually, even as a young adult, my first husband was Catholic. And I'm not putting down Catholics. Yeah,
we're not.
Not whatsoever.
No.
But I went to those classes 2 or 3 different times and ended up dropping out just because it didn't resonate with me. My mother became a Jehovah's Witness when I was a child for many years, and that definitely did not resonate with me. I've always known God, though. I've always prayed. I talk to God all the time in my head. I am Pisces rising, hence Neptune Girl. I am very spiritual. I don't believe that we have to sit in a church. I mean, I totally get people who like to come together in communion.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. And I think we can do that in however way, you know, that we feel comfortable with. But, oh yeah. I think spirituality offers a much closer connection to God.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just my thoughts on it, you know.
For me, I agree with that, because for me, it feels more of a one-on-one connection than it did within the church. And we're not putting down religion or church or anything. This is just our opinions. You don't have to agree with it. But it's just, I know a lot of people struggle out there, and they're lonely, or they're afraid, or they're told that they're satanic, for example. Right. And so we want you to know that you're not. And if you want to have a personal relationship with God, one-on-one, that's okay. And like I always say, you can worship God out in a field of flowers if you want to, you know. You don't have to be in a building. He's not in a building. He's everything. He is the building, he's the grass, he's the trees. So
yeah, and I feel that, you know, God's spirit, however you want to, whatever label you want to put on it, connects to us through our heart.
Yeah.
You know, and being able to get into your heart and think about your inner child and where your soul came from, and just being able to connect deeply like that Like I said, I just think that it works for me.
Yeah.
And like I said, it makes me feel comfortable. I actually do feel love. I do feel connection. Whereas I didn't find that so much in a lot of organized religion.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I feel like, too, that, when you go through your spiritual awakening and you come out of what I call the programming, I'm not sure if you call it that, too, but that programming, it is a little bit lonely and scary, and it can be like, oh my gosh, what if I'm doing something wrong? But for me, I always had this inner knowing that there's a reason why God created the planets. There's a reason I was born at a certain time. There's a reason why I have a certain name. There's a reason why I feel certain things. I've always felt that, and if God didn't want us to have this knowledge for me, I feel like God wouldn't have created the planets and how it coincides with the zodiac signs and all. If you look at that, it's just an amazing structure that we have. And it's like God, a lot of times, I was thinking about this when we were talking earlier, a lot of times I've questioned, like, God, why is my life so hard? Why didn't I have instructions when I was here? Why wasn't I born with instructions? But with astrology, God actually has given you instructions, insight into your soul and who you are to help you grow. And I feel like that's why it's such a good tool.
Oh, definitely. I think of it kind of like it's our recipe.
Yeah.
or like what is that on the groceries? The little scan thing with all the numbers.
The barcode.
The barcode. Yeah. That's our barcode. If you, and that's why it's important. If you need to have your birth time, which a lot of birth certificates don't have it on there. So if you can find it, because in order to get an accurate chart, you have to have your birth time, the place you were born, and of course the date. But definitely, your chart explains so much. That's why I wished I had found astrology when I was much younger. I would have done a lot of things differently in my life.
I know.
Yeah.
Being able to know who you truly are. Why do you think that we find these things out later in life?
Because it was of that religious programming.
Yeah, thank you.
If you grew up in a household, I know when I was coming up, most Christians, have a no on astrology. Like, astrology is considered an occult science, which I don't look at it that way. I mean, to me, astrology is how God did it.
Yeah.
You can't deny that those planets are up there and that they're at those degrees. And, it's just, it's not a science that is incompatible with a belief in a higher power. It proves there's a higher power.
Yeah.
I mean, everything he did is in patterns, and astrology is basically the study of cycles,
And that's what I always say. Everything is in cycles. Like the world, the planet goes through cycles. The moon has cycles. Women call it a cycle. We have... God help you when it's my cycle. Okay, I'm just going to be honest. But no, everything does happen in cycles, and it feels like God put it there as kind of like as a tool, I almost want to say an instruction booklet, because that's what it feels like to me. Like God said here, like, you're going to be able to learn about yourself and grow as a person, and this is how everything's structured so you can understand yourself better.
And, when people question, well, how do you know that or whatever? I mean, it's really not that incomprehensible. I mean, think about the moon, the Farmer's Almanac. It's been known for, hundreds of years. You plant during certain times. Yeah. It's based off the moon, or like most beauticians or barbers. I mean, they would know that, don't get your hair cut during this time.
Yes.
Or if you want thicker hair, cut it during this part of the moon cycle. So it's basically the same thing. It's just applied to our entire solar system, all the planets and asteroids that affect us.
Yeah. And you know what? It's funny that you brought that up, because I went to get my hair cut, I think it was like 2 months ago. And there was this really religious woman sitting there talking about Christianity and everything like that, which I'm not against. I love Jesus, okay? Not putting anyone down. Everyone's welcome here. But she was talking about it, and I was like feeling really uncomfortable because I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm sitting here as a tarot reader, and are they going to sniff me out? Are they going to know and kick me out of the salon? But one of the girls started cutting my hair, and the other girl cutting the religious lady's hair, they started talking about the moon cycle and when it's the best time to cut your hair for it to grow fast. And they were talking about that so openly. And even the religious lady, the Christian lady, was, oh yeah, I've heard that. It actually works. So see, it's not evil. It's actually something that you can see. There's results and things that actually work, and it's true. I mean, there's proof of it.
Well, even if you look at, you know, when Christ was born, the wise men got there based following the stars.
Exactly.
You know, there's many references to astrology in the Bible. It's not.
Yeah.
On opposite sides, like a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree with that. I see it a lot. Now, I used to be really, really religious and not as much spiritual, and these things would freak me out, but I was always drawn to tarot and astrology. Not as knowledgeable as Neptune girl here, but I was always drawn to it, and I could tell you, like, if you told me your birthday, oh, you're a Cancer, you're a Capricorn, you're an Aries. I could always say that. I always had that knowledge within me. So, you know, when I heard that it was evil, I was like, oh, no, I can't do this. But, of course, I changed when I got more conscious.
It's that Scorpio rising.
Yeah,
That makes you know
I am a Scorpio rising. Okay. And a whole lot of crazy. But yeah, so I'm glad that, you know, she's offering her services and that she's able to help people and go more in depth into the chart, because you can get readings all day long. And of course, I love doing my readings, and we can see a lot of things I've said have come to pass. A lot of twin flames coming into union. I just got an email the other night. One of my subscribers, her divine masculine, came back, and I was like, what? I'm so excited. So, you know, it is happening, it is taking place, and the cards are great. But in the twin flame dynamic, it is all about becoming whole within yourself, growing and learning and changing the things within you, not concentrating on the other person. And that's where you come in. I feel like you're going to help so many twins. For real. I'm not even kidding.
Well,
I can feel it. Yeah, I can feel it from her. How do you feel about the twins? Like, do you think that will actually assist people just by changing themselves based on, you know, like growing and learning from their chart? I feel it will.
Definitely. And hey, it could even possibly help you recognize that this person that you think is your twin actually is not. You know.
True.
But I'm not an expert on the twin flame dynamic. But I am very helpful with helping you understand the person you're dealing with and what they're coming from, if you have their birth information.
Yeah, of course.
We have to have that. And sometimes, you know, that's the problem, especially with folks that don't have their birth time.
Now, when they don't have their birth time, that just affects the houses, right?
Yeah, I mean, and you're
but the houses are crucial.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you won't know what rising sign you are.
Okay.
You know, a lot of times astrologers will use 12 noon just to do a chart if you don't know your birth time, because at least with that chart you can get what, you know, each planet is. You know, which is helpful. I mean, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
But as far as doing relationship charts, I mean, that makes it a lot harder because, you know.
What you gonna do?
Yeah.
What you gonna do with this? It's like probably trying to put some puzzle pieces together, but you're missing a bunch of the pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah.
So good luck with that.
Yeah, you can get some information, but
not to the extent.
It is a lot more helpful. Even if if you don't have an exact time, if you have a grandmother or your mom or whoever can remember, oh, you were born in the morning at it was around the time the kids got on the school bus. At least, we can kind of work with that. It's just, when you have no idea is when it makes it a lot harder to get a correct chart.
I got you. Yeah. So I wanted to go ahead and, first of all, she's great, right? Leave comments down below because she's so knowledgeable. You're very welcome. Make sure to subscribe to her channel. She will have videos coming out soon. When you
Hopefully soon, yeah.
Yeah, she's going to get some things together, so just be patient. She's getting it together. She's feeling these energies just like we are. But I wanted to do, if you don't mind, I want to go ahead and do a reading real quick. I'm going to use these karma cards, like these for me. These have the planets, the signs, and the houses. Okay. I love these cards. So I'm going to see what we have. Well, as I cut the deck, we have Capricorn and South Node. So, South Node, can you
Capricorn is on the South Node.
Oh, my goodness.
The South Node is in Capricorn. Yeah.
You see how that works? Yeah. Can you tell us real quick? Because I feel like we could do this reading together. What does that mean right now?
The South Node is the past. Mm-hmm. If you don't believe in reincarnation, it's your youth, young past, like maybe as a child. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times the South Node represents our past. And right now with the South Node being in Capricorn, it kind of represents all the systems, religion, and systems in our government and stuff as being in the past. We are on the, cusp of transformation here with Pluto being there as well. You know, a lot of things are going to change over the next couple of years. But anyway, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because the South, that's amazing. You see how this works, guys? This is not some hoodoo and boo-boo stuff. Okay, this is actually happening for you, and you can see, what are the odds of this coming out when... And I didn't even know. You told me a little bit about it, but yeah, so like she was saying, the South Node right here that came out, this is remembering, reconsidering. Now is not the time to, for example. So for a lot of you, now is not the time to get into any sour communication, he said, she said type of energy. Now is the time with this Capricorn energy to be serious, to meet your goals, to focus, to go forward and not keep pointing a finger at somebody else. Like I said, it's time to focus within, get serious about letting your wounds go, your past go, and get serious about what's good for you in your life, not what it's going to be like with that other person involved, because that's going to just drag you down. I know we can all get there, but that's going to drag you down. And so if you're feeling this way, I feel like it's a good opportunity to really do a self-check, okay? And get serious about it too. I can't believe that came out together like that. That's awesome. So I'm going to see what else comes out if I can situate my cards because, I'm not organized, even though I'm Capricorn. I'm really not. I'm more an Aries, I swear, than anything else.
Hey, and South Node, with you being Capricorn Sun, your South Node, I'm kind of out of your South Node because I was good friends with her mother. We went to high school together.
Yes, she's pretty much family, okay? And you know what? I'm going to tell you something about that. I had no idea that she was into astrology. My mom, I love my mom. I love you, Mom, if you're watching. But my mom wasn't quite sure about what I'm doing. My mom's very intuitive. She's got some gifts, though. She should really
She's Cancer.
Yeah, right? She's Cancer. My mom's a Cancer, too. But my mom wasn't quite sure about what I was doing. And then Miss Kim here, being her friend, started talking about it. And we started, talking again. She used to babysit me when I was little. All right, so see how the universe works and see how you're brought together. There are no accidents or coincidences, okay? So let me grab a house. It's the seventh house. You want to talk a little bit about that while I pull the other cards? You can, just to give them a rundown of the seventh house and what it's about.
Well, the seventh house represents partners. It could be your marriage partner. It could be boyfriends, girlfriends. It could be business associates. Any type of relationship. It's the relationship house. It also represents open enemies. So, a lot of times people typically think of it as the marriage house, but it is actually just about our relationships with anybody really fall under the seventh house.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so right now I feel like relationships are going to be tested. I don't know, do you feel that in the energy? Because I feel like there's going to be some tests, some struggles, and then with the retrograde coming up, it could be people coming back from the past too. That's just something I'm feeling intuitively.
Yeah, and it could also be, with Venus being conjunct Chiron. our wounds and overcoming those things, emotional things. It's definitely going to affect some partnerships.
Yeah.
And like you said, with Mercury going retrograde on Sunday, we may make decisions this week about, hey, I'm past this wound. I'm not going to mess with that person anymore. Retrograde comes in and you change your mind. So I guess for the rest of this week, just, remember everything's not in stone.
Yeah, I get, you know what? I've noticed that energy too, and it reminds me of the Moonology cards, but they are way on over on my bed, so I can't reach them. But there is a card that says nothing is yet set in stone. Yeah, if you want to grab them, you can. It's the ones with the moons all over. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, those, let me grab it real quick. Nothing is yet set in stone. That's what I feel the theme of this energy is for this week, like you said. Like maybe we're walking away from people, or we're not working out the way that we hoped, or maybe we tried to apologize to somebody and they didn't forgive us, but then maybe they come back with a retrograde and say, you know what, I was wrong. I didn't want to lose you after all, and I didn't want to, get you out of my life, and I'm sorry I was acting like a butthead. Pretty much. We all know those buttheads, and we can be one too. Where is it? I don't know if I passed it or not. It's so weird. Anyway, a lot of you will know that card, nothing is yet set in stone. I can't find it. It's really weird that I can't find that card, but it's there if y'all know the Moonology deck. But yeah, so pretty much relationships being tested, or maybe letting go of relationships, releasing, but like she said, nothing is yet set in stone. So let me grab a planet real quick. It's Jupiter. What are your thoughts on that? Is there anything going on with Jupiter? Didn't you say something with Capricorn?
Jupiter is in Capricorn right now.
Okay.
And Jupiter is the planet that magnifies wherever it touches. It's ruled by, it actually rules the sign of Sagittarius, which Mars is in Sagittarius right now.
Right.
So with partners, maybe with the partnership card, the Jupiter card is here to kind of remind us that, decisions that we do make can be very big. You know what I'm saying? So by remembering nothing set in stone, don't exaggerate anything now,
Yeah.
But, if that makes sense.
No, it does. And you know what? I'm drawn to these two. Be positive about and grow and expand. So for me, it goes with what she's saying. And I feel like, instead of dwelling on that or getting in a low vibrational state, that you could be very positive about it and know that there's going to be growth and change, especially if like you're in a separation that maybe you are supposed to be with this partner, but it's just separate right now, especially in twin flame dynamics, that this isn't the be all end all, as I say. There's some growth and expansion that needs to take place, and you guys may be separated for a time because of the growth that needs to happen within you. Because remember, it's not about the other person. This is your spiritual journey and growth. If we keep dwelling on the other person or what other people need to change, then we spend too much time and energy on that person and less time on what we need to grow and change. Wouldn't you agree on that? Because I've done that.
I do. I totally agree. I think if everyone was more focused on inner growth, and then, because if you look at relationships that way, that you're coming together to share, not rely on that person for your happiness.
Exactly.
And so if you can find your happiness in yourself, all your relationships just become more balanced, because you're not needy, you're sharing,
Exactly.
But the person that you're sharing with needs to have that same idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Where they're working on their personal growth.
Is that not the truth? You won't believe what just came out. And y'all know I can't talk. Let me tell you. You won't believe what just came out. The sign is Aquarius. And we're in Aquarius season right now. Do you guys see this? Okay. This is Aquarius season right now. What would you say are some of the main aspects of Aquarius, or how they could use this energy? Because this all goes together for me.
Let's see. Aquarius rules the 11th house, which is community. Aquarius is more focused on the big picture, whereas its opposite sign, Leo, is our heart, inside. Aquarius is more focused around the world, like the internet falls under Aquarius. With it going into partnership with the 7th house and Jupiter, maybe this is a representation of a good Valentine's Day. You know what I'm saying? Because Valentine's Day is in the sign of Aquarius.
Yeah.
We have our 7th house. Jupiter magnifies it. So hopefully it'll be a good Valentine's Day for most folks.
Yeah, and there may be some surprises maybe, you know?
And even if you're not in a relationship, you have to have a relationship with someone. You know what I'm saying? So you can take this energy and use it just to be positive or help someone out or whatever. Or like, hey, call your mom you haven't talked to in 3 months or whatever. Or your old friend across the country,
Yeah.
Just some good relationship energy.
I love that. I love that a lot too. And I mean, if you're by yourself, you can buy yourself some flowers or chocolates or, do something nice for yourself and love yourself. Valentine's Day, make yourself your Valentine. That's what I'm saying. I've had to do that before many, many times. So yeah, basically, the vision, holding your vision too is something that I'm feeling, holding your vision of a relationship that's to come for some of you, others of you that are in a relationship, growing and expanding that relationship, or you just growing and changing to a point where you don't need anything on the outside, that everything you need or could ever desire is with God and within yourself. And that's what I'm picking up. I feel like with me and Neptune girl together, that was an awesome reading. Let's just say. I'm going to get some love oracle cards. Look at this. Talking. Yes. And we are talking.
Favorite thing to do.
I know, me too. I'm a talker girl. So this is interested, conversing more. A weighted message arrives. That's something I just picked up. A message might come in on Valentine's Day. Text, call, email, hoovering. Some of y'all need to be careful because it might be a narcissist trying to hoover you back, because they do like to do that around the holidays. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
That happens. Now, I have to say, I'm drawn to the sunglasses. Somebody is stalking, watching you through social media, waiting for just the right timing to make the move. So there's something about focusing out, or maybe some of y'all got, this gaslighting situation where someone wasn't owning up to what they've done. They were gaslighting you.
Yes.
Have you gone through that?
Yes. I just was divorced last year, so I'll leave it there.
Yeah. Yeah, so you might have somebody.
I am a narcissism expert too. If you are dealing with anything like that, I can help. I'm your girl.
Yeah. She's very knowledgeable in all areas, so it's amazing. I just got that song, is it Corey Hart, I Wear My Sunglasses at Night? Taking it back to the 80s, girl.
Yeah.
Something about wearing sunglasses at night. So somebody might be just driving by your house, peeking in your windows. Hopefully you're not butt naked. Make sure you got something on. Okay, if you don't, that's fine. But then the bottom of the deck is karmic relationship. What I feel is coming from this, some of y'all may have been in a karmic relationship. Oh, there's twin flames behind it. I don't know if you can see it. So there's twin flames. This is what I feel. Somebody's realizing that you were their twin flame, or that they were pretty much dumb. Let's just use the word dumb to let you go, dumb to let you get out of their life. They weren't treating you fairly. There wasn't a lot of balance in this situation. I do feel like there were a lot of triggers with you, but some of you are dealing with a person that is in fact in a karmic relationship, and they're realizing they need to let that go. They're realizing they need to love themselves. So something may come up where they're missing you, they're thinking about you, they're really focused outward instead of inward, and they are starting to realize things for how they really are. Or some of y'all might be figuring out that who you thought was a twin was a karmic relationship, as you really take a step back and look at the bigger picture, which is Aquarian energy. Yeah. Looking at the vision, look at the, bigger picture.
Definitely.
So are you feeling anything from this? I mean, does this correlate with the, correlate, is that the right word? Does this correlate with the energy?
Oh, I agree. And one thing I will say too is if you do have any revelations, remember nothing is set in stone.
Yes.
Because if you think, oh my gosh, let's say your gaslighter shows up this week on Valentine's Day. I miss you. I want you back. Da 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 da. you might feel really happy. But after the retrograde and you've had time to go back over, you may not be. So I guess just be slow and be open, and, you know, nothing is set in stone.
Yeah, you know what?
This next few weeks.
I love that you keep saying that, because the bottom of the deck is abundance, which is about keeping a positive mindset, manifest exactly what you want, gratitude and bliss. And I feel like knowing that nothing is set in stone, that's going to help you to raise your vibrations and keep a positive mindset and to manifest exactly what you want at this time, instead of focusing. Don't wear your sunglasses at night, okay? Don't wear them at night. Take them off so you can see and have clear vision, the bigger picture, right?
Yep. That's funny. Saturday night, I was at a place and they had a little band, and the guy had his sunglasses, dark sunglasses on the whole time.
Oh, yeah?
I was like, why's he got his sunglasses on? I didn't know if he was trying to hide a black eye or something.
Maybe. You never know. But yeah, so that's our reading, guys. It was amazing to talk with Neptune Girl. Like I said, the information will be down below to check her out.
Thank you so much.
You are so very welcome. So very welcome. And it was so much fun to be on here with her. But you guys, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share if you did enjoy this video. We appreciate your feedback as well, and all of your subscribes to my channel and her channel as well. And she will have a website and everything up and running pretty soon. So look out for her. I'm sure you'll be on my channel again with me.
Oh, yes.
And possibly on the Secluded Coven with me and Joelle.
Have to come be on mine.
Yes, I want to, of course. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Love you so much. Bye-bye, big things.
Thank you.